Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas, down here in the boot in Baton Rouge. And I have on me no other than the founder of Black College Experience in Atlanta, Georgia, Keisha Kelly. What's going on?
Hey, Derek. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing good, man. It's Sunday night. We ready for the show. Sunday night football, Black College Experience. Hey, it's all good, baby.
It is all good, and we are now at the week of the third Celebration Bowl. We are coming up on the third Celebration Bowl where North Carolina A&T punched their ticket a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now we have Grambling State that also punched their ticket last week. So we're going to see who's going to win between Fobbs and Broadway when it comes up on Saturday. But before we get into all of that Celebration Bowl talk, let's start off this show talking about Cheney University.
Yes. According to HBCU Game Day's article, Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference is aware that Cheney University, that they're going to be dropping football from its sports sponsorship menu. And this is significant because Cheney is one of the oldest HBCUs. And, you know,
right,
as HBCU lovers, we don't want to see any HBCU drop a sport, especially a money-making sport like football. We know Cheney has been having some financial issues, and that's one reason why they decided to drop football to try to get get back in the black a little bit. I'm pretty sure, we all know what happened to UAB a few years ago, and they came back and they were successful.
Right.
I'm hoping that will be the case for Cheney to once they get their books right and get back on top financially, that they will bring the football program back.
Right.
So
go ahead.
The Wolves finished 1-10 this year, so without them having a winning season, having a poor program, I mean that's one of the reasons why they probably looked at the football program. Hey, we're unsuccessful. We're not making as much money as we could, but we all know football teams can turn around. You can be 1-10 one year, turn around to be 8-5 or 8-3 the next year. So,
right.
Well, go ahead, Kels.
Well, it looks like with Cheney, they've been struggling, for the past. Like you said, this season was 1-10, but it looks like this was the one thing, and they've been struggling for many seasons. So this might have been the nail in the coffin. But now what they'll have to do is work with other institutions to get those 10 to fill those 10 open dates on their schedule. So I think in hindsight. You hate to see it go. And it's just like you said about UAB. It went away, but it came back. But you hate to see stuff like this go, because what happens is when programs start to shut down, slowly other things start to diminish as well. And
Exactly.
That's the thing that you don't want to see. And like you said, one of the oldest HBCUs. So it's very important to preserve that history. It's very important to, keep those things around. But at the end of the day, I hate to see this happen, but if it is something that they need to do in order to get their books into place, it's I'm all for it. So I guess we'll just see what happens from there.
Right. And up next, I want to discuss, we have some postseason all-star games, because we know the last two HBCU football teams standing will be playing next week in the Celebration Bowl. But prospects and players from all other HBCUs will be participating in two HBCU all-star games. Today, tomorrow they will participate in them, and then you're going to be covering the Dream Bowl. So for these prospects to get noticed by the NFL, and I just want to run down the list of the players that will be playing in the 2017 FCS Bowl. 3 dozen HBCU standouts will be selected for this game. Starting out with Alabama A&M has 3. Defensive back Dexter Reese, wide receiver Calais Robinson, defensive tackle Avery Giles. Alabama State has one selection, defensive tackle Andre Wilson. Bowie State has one selection, Rob Chesson, running back Rob Chesson. Benedict has one, defensive back Edward Kirkland. Cheney has three selections, three linebackers, Jamil Hines, Keeson Dingle, and Chaplain Johnson Davis. So congratulations to those young men getting a chance to play in this All-Star game, and we'll have that opportunity next year. Clark Atlanta has two, linebacker Jaquadin Victram and wide receiver DeAndre Jackson. Elizabeth City State has quarterback DeQuan Neal, defensive line Jarrell Timmons. Fort Valley State, two, linebacker Cannon Thomas, defensive back Karante Donaldson. Hampton with one, defensive back Harry Freeman. Howard has one, running back Desmond Wortham, two, defensive lineman Richard Johnson, and Johnson Smith has one. I'm glad to see this young man on this team. He's one of my favorite HBCU players of the past 2 years, and that is Carlo Thomas out of Johnson C. Smith University. He is an awesome defensive back prospect. When he gets the ball in his hand, he acts like he's on offense. But Continuing Lane College has offensive lineman Howard Bush. Lincoln, Pennsylvania has running back Ramsey Owen, wide receivers Elijah Smith and Andre Price, linebacker Ramir Thomas. My alma mater, Mrs. Valley State University, has defensive back Nicholas Everett Nicholas. They got his name wrong. Your alma mater, Kels, has one, offensive lineman Skylar Pro. Shaw has five, linebacker Odie Harris, quarterback Carlos Quintero, wide receivers Donald Jones Jr., Trevante Long, and Vincent Jones Jr. Texas Southern has one, wide receiver kick returner Darvin Kitsey. Tuskegee has two, linebacker Osman Thompson, and defensive back Jonah McCutcheon. Arkansas Pine Bluff has one, wide receiver Patrick Rowland. Virginia State has one, Brandon Lynch. Virginia Union 3, Carl Calhoun, Christopher Paul, Xavier Bradford. Winston State has one, running back Xavier Quick. And those are all of the prospects from HBCU colleges that were selected to participate in the FCS Bowl. The National Bowl is also selecting HBCU players, and they don't have quite as many as the FCS Bowl, but there are several HBCU players. It's mostly Division II colleges on there. So, but if you want to check out the players for HBCU that are on that squad, you can check that out by going to www.nationalbowl.org/rosters to check out the list of HBCU players that are on that list. Not a whole lot of us in that bowl game, more so in the FCS Bowl that we're going to be using as a platform to hopefully impress some scouts. Logan Ossie from Virginia State University is going to be playing in the National Bowl. Shaquan Mitchell from Clark Atlanta, and a couple other prospects. So congratulations to those young men looking to impress scouts for a potential professional football career, not just in the NFL, but Canada, the Canadian League, and also the Arena Leagues and other semi-pro leagues around the country. Those are all doorways where those young men can potentially carve out professional careers with the hope that one day they may get that call to play in the National Football League, Kels.
And, that's a good thing because also while we're talking about what's going on as far as calls for the HBCU Spirit of America Bowl, there were three young men as well that have received invitations to the HBCU Bowl game. Now, they have they do their invitations, and it's only a limited amount of spots. But the three that I've spoken with this week, of course, they all came from Morehouse College. Let's see, one guy, excuse me, the first guy, his name was David. I think that's the first guy I talked to. His name was David. The second guy that I actually talked to, his name was Kenneth Higgins. And then the third guy that I spoke with was Kevon Taylor, which is the quarterback. So, congratulations to those three guys as more those invitations come in, we'll see who's going to be invited to play in that bowl. At this time, I've reached out to the director and actually trying to get, invitation out even for Austin and some other guys. So it's a couple of guys that we're trying to get invitations out for, because we want them all to have the opportunity to, get to these bowl games, to get exposure whichever way they can, no matter what bowl game it is. We just want them to be able to get out there and showcase their talent.
Exactly.
And show people that, that they're competitive, and, no matter where they go after this, if they can get a chance to go showcase the talent, we want them to be able to do it. So, again, as more of those invitations come in, of course, we'll keep you posted. But let's go ahead and take a commercial break before we jump into this next subject.
All right, and we'll be right back after 31 seconds with more Black College Experience.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and we were just talking about the All-Star games for our HBCU prospects and just wishing these young men well as they showcase their talent to hopefully get noticed, Kels.
And like I said, again, as more of those players come in, we'll see more and more. And, of course, I think we'll see more more come in. It's always good when you can see even people like Danny Johnson that's going to the Senior Bowl. So, I think as the time continues to grow, as it gets closer, there'll be more and more invitations. And it's really good because it's out at all these HBCUs to be invited, is one of those. It's just an opportunity, and it's an honor to actually be invited, to actually say, okay, I'm one of those people that they actually considered.
Exactly.
To invite. But I want to talk about this change. In the recent, we've seen changes like Hampton leaving the MEAC. Now we see Savannah State that's returning to the SIAC.
Going home.
And I got a chance. Go ahead.
I was just saying they're going home.
Oh, I got a chance to talk to someone that works with me that is alumni, and he was telling me that they're doing this, they're going back because they're taking the money to redo their campus.
Oh.
So, insiders. So, what are your thoughts on them returning to the SIAC? Do you think that they can be competitive in the SIAC because they didn't have a great record playing in the MEAC? Do you think they can be competitive over in the SIAC?
I would hope so. I mean, no, they were not competitive in football in the MEAC. And I don't know Savannah State's history in the SIAC. I do know one famous Hall of Famer that played for Savannah State, which that being Shannon Sharp. But I can't remember what conference they were in when he played. Hopefully, they can become competitive. But it's good that you mentioned that they're taking the money that will be used, that they will be saving to improve campus infrastructure.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. You don't see a lot of that these days. I think they're going to be able to be competitive. I think they're going to field a team. We all know who the kings of the SIAC are, that being Tuskegee. So, Savannah State, will have a proposed talent, supposedly talent edge being coming from Division I. But we all know, once you get on that field, divisions are thrown out. We saw what happened with Tuskegee and Jackson State this year. Not saying that Savannah is going to go back down to the SIAC and just wreck shop. That would be foolish to say something like that. But, I guess we'll see. I'm not going to say they're going to win 8 games or 5 to 6 games. It's going to be an adjustment because of the different restrictions on recruiting and, of course, scholarships and of course just overall financial aid that you can give athletes at the Division II level. But I think
Right.
it's a wise
Right.
move because you don't see schools really sacrificing athletics like this to improve infrastructure. It's normally just to save money. If they are improving infrastructure, you don't hear them say that. They don't put that out in the public. I think that's
Well, the
awesome.
thing is that this is an inside person telling me this. So this is
Okay.
not necessarily, this is not necessarily a person from the, from the athletic department, but this is someone telling me. But the thing is that they've been, like you said, they're going back home. They were there before, and they were there from 68 to 2000. So, they did make the jump to Division I. And then it was, it was an independent until they joined the MEAC in 2010. So again,
Right.
I was asking the other day, somebody was like, well, do you think they can win? Well, if you look at teams that are in the division, you look at your Tuskegees, your Albany States, your Fort Valleys. Tuskegee would be, to me, that would be a tougher opponent. Albany State would be a tougher opponent. This year, looking at the Fort Valley team, it'll be a tougher opponent. So, I think by them dropping back, I think it's a good thing, but I still think it's going to be just as not as competitive as it is in the MEAC, but I think they will have a better chance at competition in the SIAC.
Right. I agree with you, but I still think Tuskegee will take them down. Tuskegee don't care where you come from.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They don't care.
Absolutely.
They gonna Tuskegee be like, we the kings down here. It's like right now, Grambling is the king of the SWAC. North Carolina A&T is the king of the MEAC. Tuskegee is the king of the SIAC.
Right.
But I can't wait to see what changes happen with this athletic department. How it affects their success on the playing fields. With it, like Savannah State's in Georgia, we know Georgia's a fertile recruiting ground. I just think it's going to be, I think it's a good thing for Savannah State to, realize that, hey, we need to do this to, better sustain ourselves. People always make jokes all the time about my alma mater going back down to Division II, going to Division II. If we did, I'm still going to talk noise, Jack. As long as we can keep Jack State on the schedule, I don't care what division we're in. We got to keep Jack State on the schedule. There's nothing wrong with a Division II school. There's nothing wrong with it. People look at it as, oh, yeah, you're the lower level. Of course, but some Division II schools can whip some of these FCS squads. It's all about your execution when you get on the playing fields or courts.
Right.
So,
all right. So this week in basketball, let's jump over to some of this SIAC basketball because it was a busy week. And as everyone knows, it did some snowing out here. So there were some postponed games.
Oh, yeah.
There were some things that actually didn't take place because of the snow. But this week, starting off in men's basketball, Claflin did secure the win over Winston-Salem State, 76-73, 3-point win. Albany State did fall to Georgia College, 61-76. That was on Monday.
Uh-huh.
Taking it over to Tuesday, Payne College did fall to Livingstone, 73-88. Tuskegee fell to Valdosta State, 81-107. Lemoyne Owen out. They had some tournaments here that for some reason they just had like asterisks there, so I don't know what happened here. Tuskegee did fall to University of West Florida. Now this wasn't. I'm sorry, this went over to the women's game. This wasn't that bad. This was 57-61. So as you can see, the women out there hooping. I don't know what the guys doing, but the women are out there hooping, out there playing ball. Again, like I said, some of these games were canceled, I'm going to say on Friday, due to the weather.
Yeah.
Due to the weather that had some of this stuff having to be rescheduled. But anyhow, going back to the men's basketball, Spring Hill fell to Loyola only by 5 points. That was 51-56. And on Saturday in men's basketball, Central State fell to Eastern Michigan University exhibition game, 65-80. The Miles and Talladega College game was postponed the Lane and Morehouse game. Looks like they didn't have a score there, so it was postponed. Looks like there was nothing there. Payne and Augusta University. Payne falls to Augusta 56-85, and then Kentucky State falls to University of Illinois Spring Hill 81-69.
Wow.
Benedict and Carver College, there was also postponed. Albany State, that was 56-6, as I stated before. Claflin did secure the win over St. Augustine 83-75. Now that, of course, is all men's basketball. Now we can't have basketball without having what? Women's basketball. I'm sorry. We can't have men's basketball without having women's basketball.
That's right.
And of course, I tend to think the women do a little bit more when it comes to the basketball. But again, the women did secure the win over the guys. Claflin did secure the win over Livingstone 75-62, and that was on Monday. I just like to go back through the whole week to kind of catch everybody up on, because there's so much going on in basketball. It's so many. Tuskegee fell to West Florida 57-61. Take it on over towards the ends of the week. Again, like I said, these games were canceled, but Spring Hill did fall to Loyola 75-84. And then to round off the week in women's basketball, it looks like, again, Central beat Bluefield State 80-49, a blowout there. Benedict fell to Livingston by 6 points, 80-86. And again, Spring Hill 71, William Carey University 68. So that was rocking and knocking. Kentucky State 58, Bellarmine University 71. So that was the rocking and knocking in SIAC basketball this week.
Right, and since we are in the SIAC, we want to congratulate Tuskegee University linebacker Osborne Thompson, who was the only HBCU selection on the 2017 American Football Coaches Association All-America team for Division II. Like I said, he's the only selection, Kels. My boy Amir Hall didn't get selected. Carlo Thomas didn't get selected. Trenton Cannon didn't get selected. I mean, you know, it's just amazing to me how, you know, you leave all these talented HBCU players off this team, because Amir Hall had $500. I'm thinking about money. He had over 500 yards passing than the two quarterbacks that were selected ahead of him. And definitely he had more touchdowns. So, you know, I think that's something that needs to be looked at. You know, with this Division II All-America team, only one HBCU selection. And we know Amir can put up video game type stats. So I feel he should have been on that team, Kels. Also in the SIAC for sports, track and field, Central State University finds success at Philly University. The Central State track and field team, sophomore Scott won the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 8.05. Scott later teamed up with Javante Brown and Israel Washington and Barry Wilson to win the 4x400 relay at a pace of 3 minutes and 3:24.22. Sophomore Maisha Wallace and junior Aisha Lockhart tied for first place in a 300-meter dash with identical times of 42.73. The CSU track team will return to competition January 12th at the Armory HBCU Battle of the Track in New York. So, you know, congratulations to Central State. Also, this is something that's kind of, you know, unique with volleyball season ending. Well, Benedict College doesn't care. They had volleyball tryouts last week for high school seniors, transfer students, and current Benedict College students. So Benedict College trying to get a leg up on the competition by holding tryouts. Gwendolyn Rouse is holding tryouts. You have to have had your clearance through the clearinghouse. So Benedict College getting a head leg up on the competition in regards to volleyball, Kels.
Absolutely.
I think that's good. I think that's awesome. So want to jump on over to the CRAA? We want to talk about some.
Sure.
Okay. In the CIAA, let's see what we have here in the CIAA. And we do have Ricardo on. My line brother PP is on. He calls in every week, so I'm thankful that PP has called in today. First off, in the CIAA, former Livingstone coach, St. Paul coach, has passed away. Let's wait for it to come up here. Edward Joyner, former head men's basketball coach at St. Paul College in Livingstone, passed away on Wednesday in Hampton, Virginia. So we want to, send prayers to his family. He was 68 years old, losing HBCU legend. He began coaching basketball in 1987 as an assistant at Johnson C. Smith University with his little brother, Stephen Joyner Sr., and he just continued his career at HBCUs. So, prayers to his family with his passing. Also, something that I know you're going to like, this isn't sports related, but it's education related. We all know how you like to, help mentor and get people opportunities. The CIAA has an internship and graduate assistant program. They have 4 to 6 openings. The location is at the CIAA office, 4725 P. Monroe Drive, Suite 200 in Charlotte. It'll provide on-the-job learning experience for college students with expressed interest in careers in intercollegiate athletics and administration. It's a one semester program, 1 year. Eligibility: applicant must be pursuing a degree from an NCAA member institution. The program begins at the start of the semester agreed upon and provides internship credits toward the degree. So, these are unpaid internships, by the way, but graduate assistantships are paid hourly. Both can request days off with approval from their site supervisor. So, degrees are in accounting and finance, communications, championships and operations, compliance and governance in the CIAA offices. The graduate assistantships are communications, championships and operations, and compliance and governance. You can apply, with a cover letter and a resume and 3 professional references. The application form is on the CIAA's website at the CIAA.com/information/internship_program. Kels, talk to us what you think about that program. I know you love stuff like that.
You heard I got excited. You heard because as you're saying it, I'm reading it. The thing is what people don't understand. As we get into new century, new technology, we're evolving into another world. We're evolving into another space. These type of opportunities never would have been. We never had these type of opportunities when I came through school. I know of. When you came through school, we didn't have these type of opportunities where we were actually, even if you were doing something, I would say it was probably work study, or you were interning, but I can't tell you any time where I could have probably worked in a SWAC office or anything of that nature. Excuse me. Nope. To the most, you probably would be in like mass communications. If you want to do media, if you want to do sports, you would be in the athletic department. And normally you were paired with what your degree was in. So whatever your degree was in is where you normally did a work study. So to see this type of thing where you can actually, a graduate assistantship, they're actually paid, but actually, undergrad, they're not paid, but you're still gaining the knowledge, you're getting the experience, not to mention when you go on and you're trying to get a job that's on your resume, so it looks good on your resume, and that can also be used as a reference. When they look back and say, hey, coach such and such did this, that, and the third, they can actually call and use it as a reference. So I think this is a really good tool, paid or not, because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't know. Before I got into sports the way I am now, you have to start from somewhere. And some things you're going to do volunteer. Some things you will not be paid for. And a lot of people don't like that term. In this day and age, it's kind of hard to get people to do it. But a lot of things you actually have to put in the sacrifice for. You actually have to put in the work for. So, again, I think this is a really good thing when you start looking at the different things, especially when you look at 2 of the main ones, compliance and governance. And also accounting and finance. Championships and operations and communications, taking nothing from that. But when you look at the financial part And then you also look at like the compliance part as far as grades and what you need to do to stay compliant. I think those are very important, and I think we need to understand that and learn it at a certain level, so we're able to function and do what we need to do, and that's across the board in every conference of HBCU sports. That way, we stay where we need to. You don't get these sanctions. You're not knocked back, and then you don't have it where these kids are suffering, where they can't participate in post-game or post-season play because of something that you didn't comply with. So I think this is a really great idea.
Right. PP, did you have a comment?
Oh, I was just agreeing with what Keisha said, because, you know, my major was mass communication. Only thing that was available at Valley, ESPN, and most of the time they laid off the people that went up there and worked with them. You know, they usually cut everybody at the end of the year. That's what happened to most people that went to Valley.
Wow.
They did that.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's good that, you know, the CIAA is, you know, putting this out. I'm pretty sure there are other opportunities within other HBCU conferences, universities, but the information sometimes isn't openly, you know, available. So when I saw this, I said, wow, this is awesome. This is a good opportunity for someone who wants to, you know, grow their career in sports. Perhaps the next future athletic director or sports administrator for an HBCU, or maybe the next SWAC commissioner, because as y'all know, we gonna be looking for SWAC commissioners soon. So who knows? Maybe, you know, get somebody in and work their way up and be like, you know what? I'm the SWAC commissioner, but I got my start. I heard on Black College Experience about the intern and graduate assistantships that the CIAA had available. So who knows? Whoever's listening, hey, this could be your chance to get into athletics. So take that chance. Now in basketball, in the CIAA, we're gonna start off with men's basketball. We're gonna start off on Thursday, December 7th, and games as follows. Virginia Union blows out Cheney 85-47. Gonna be a while before they play them again. Fayetteville State loses to Allen 90-76. Lynn edges out Lincoln, Pennsylvania 64-62. Virginia Union beats up on Bluefield 79-66. Let's see here. Lander edges out Livingstone 89-83. The Winston-Salem State versus Piedmont International game was canceled. Claflin defeats St. Augustine's 83-75. And today's games are to be announced. Don't have scores on them yet. Now, on the women's side, Virginia State edges out Mansfield 52-51. Children defeats Mount Olive 80-77. Shaw defeats William Peace 81-70. Indiana, Pennsylvania defeats Bowie State 61-54. Lenore Ryan defeats Livingstone 96-79. These are Thursday's games. Lincoln, Pennsylvania blows out Washington Adventist 77-53. Now, for Saturday's games, Bowie State blows out Felician 78-38. Livingstone beats Benedict 86-80. Again, the Winston-Salem State versus Johnson and Wales University was canceled. Elizabeth City State beats Salem International by 1 point, 54-53, and Elizabeth City State beats Bluefield State 65-54. That's all I have in the CIAA for basketball and news. We're about almost over 35 minutes into the meat of the show, so we want to take a commercial break, and we come back. We're going to talk about some coaching carousel on the HBCU level, and we got some movement. We got people jumping on, jumping off. We got people staying on the carousel. So we'll be right back to discuss the movements and the continued openings in HBCU football head coaching realm. We'll be right back in 31 seconds.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and we're going to talk about the head coach movement and rumors for HBCU football coaches. And the first one I want to discuss, y'all, is one of a football coach that's still standing, getting ready to play for a national championship. And that is none other than Grambling State University's Broderick Fobbs, being rumored to be interested in the head coaching vacancy at U of L, a place where he does have some coaching history. I know nobody from Grambling wants to even fathom the fact or think of the fact that Coach Fobbs would leave Grambling. If we had somebody from Grambling on right now, they would probably be cursing me out under their breath because you can't cuss on the air, but they would not be happy about us discussing this. But it's something that could possibly happen, even if it's just a rumor. With that job being open, with Coach Hudspeth resigning and going back to Mississippi State, Coach Fobbs is being considered or rumored to be interested in that job. What do you think about that, Kels?
I think, anytime you get a coach that's in the position of Roderick Fobbs, you look at what he's done for the Tigers program. He turned that program around in a year. We're not even talking about 3-4 years. You're talking about in 1 year. So you can't even deny that the job that he's done. You talk about a coach that turned a program around in a year that has now 2 SWAC championships and also going back to his second Celebration Bowl. He has 1 Celebration Bowl, and he's going to make a second appearance. So you have to start looking at, you've accomplished so many things right now for this team. You have to start looking at what is the next move. And for anybody that knows sports, and the three of us on this phone know so well, we have to compare this. We have to look at it as, it's a business move. And we know, like anybody else, if it's our jobs, we're trying to move up on our jobs. So, why would he not be considering, to go somewhere else? And I know oftentimes we get that, oh, someone loves their school. Oh, they love this. They're there for this. This is what they want to do. Yeah, but it's a business move, and you have to consider that the man is married. You have to consider that he's not the only person. So, you do things that you have to do for your own, and you built something. You leave a legacy that you're leaving behind because you turned the program around. You done something for a school that had losing season. So why would you not consider moving on to something bigger? Not saying he's leaving, but why would you not?
I mean, Alcorn learned this lesson, this valuable lesson also. Coach Hobson said he was at home, had family near Alcorn. You couldn't tell Alcorn Brave that Hobson was going to leave Alcorn. They would argue you up and down that he was not going anywhere. I think Hobson stayed longer than I anticipated him staying. Of course, Fobbs is HBCU born and bred. Jay Hobson was not. No one could have predicted that Hobson would have stayed as long as he stayed. I only say he would stay 2 years. He ended up staying, I think, 4. And then jumped out. And Alcorn was heartbroken. If Fobbs were to leave Grambling, I think Grambling fans would feel the same way. But even more so, Fobbs went to Grambling, right? I think he went to Grambling. His dad coached at Grambling. So Grambling is...
He went to Grambling, yeah.
Right. Grambling is really, really home for him. And to have the legacy of Eddie Robinson, who's coached over 50 years at Grambling, everyone wants to say Fobbs is Coach Rob. Well, he's not. He's Broderick Fobbs. Even Doug Williams did not stay as long as people thought he should have stayed. And he built a winning program at Grambling, came back for his second stint, and still did not stay as long as he probably could have stayed. But I'm not going to lie. I would like to see Coach Fobbs stay at Grambling until someone knocks him off the mountain. I would like to see him stay at Grambling until someone knocks him off the mountain. I know Grambling fans will be happy to hear me say that, but like you said, this is a business. You have jilted fans, jilted players. At the end of the day, the coach wants to show loyalty to the school, show loyalty to the players, but ultimately, the loyalty that means the most is the loyalty to his family and the loyalty to his own professional desires. He did interview for the University of Louisiana Monroe position. So he was looking to leave when that position was given to Matt Viator in 2015. So he has interviewed for a position to leave Grambling in 2015. So, he started his coaching career as a graduate assistant at U of L. He was there from 2000 to 2002. Again, sometimes people like to go back to a place that they have familiarity. And since this is where Fobbs got his start at coaching, it would seem logical for him to want to go back there and for the head coaching position, being that the job is not open. And he's familiar with Louisiana recruiting grounds. He has a network of recruiting as far as high school players and also transfers. Of course, he won't be able to get transfers like he got before, but Fobbs is a person that, utilizes channels of finding players better than anyone I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? But we're not going to spend too much time on Fobbs. The next coach I want to talk about is Willie Simmons. Left Alcorn after Hobson left. Was the head coach of Prairie View, built Prairie View up pretty good. Now he has left to go home to Tallahassee to be the head coach of Florida A&M. Kels and PP, what do you all think about Coach Simmons leaving Prairie View in the dust to go back to Tallahassee?
Well, once again, it is a business. I think with his situation, Prairie View pretty stable, but the only situation is that you can't beat Southern and you can't beat Grambling. So I think that was becoming an issue. That was becoming an issue with him. I still think that it was in a good place. And again, you have people that say, "Oh, that's a bad move." If you look at some of the commentary that people have when they say that's a bad move, you would think that these people had head coaching positions all their lives, or this is what they do. And it's like, you can't tell somebody what's a bad move, or you can't tell somebody what they should do when you've never coached or you've never done the job that this person has done when they could have done like 10, 12 coaching jobs. So, sometimes there are no ties to how people pick them. Sometimes people just go for a fresh start. Sometimes people make lateral moves. Sometimes it's for the resume. Sometimes it's just go outside the conference. It's whatever that person chooses to do. But if it's better for him to go back to FAMU and try to build that program up, because they've been struggling for a little while,
yes, they have,
then maybe that's the best thing for them to do.
But he can't escape a difficult opponent. You got North Carolina A&T, they the kings of the MEAC. So you couldn't get past
you can't
Southern,
escape
couldn't
them,
get
so
past
exactly.
Grambling. So everywhere you go, you're going to have competition. I was very shocked that he left Prairie View, because Prairie View has tremendous facilities. Prairie View has facilities that are better than some FBS programs. So I don't know a lot about the Florida A&M program. I do have a friend of mine who has a nephew that plays for FAMU. So perhaps I can, reach out and see if he would like to be a guest on the show just to talk about what he think about the coaching change, if possible, or just to learn more about the culture of FAMU football, because I don't really know a lot about FAMU's facilities. We do know they played a couple money games this year. They were in the news with this year with their money games. But I'm very shocked to see Willie Simmons leave Prairie View. But I think he transferred to FAMU after he left Clemson, but wasn't able to play. So again, that's a place where he has familiarity, and it's home for him temporarily until he gets a better job somewhere else. Speaking of someone leaving, Coach Jerry Mack leaves NCCU to take over the offensive coordinator position at Rice. I was kind of shocked to see him leave NCCU. But football coaches have dreams and goals. Sometimes they feel like I've been here. It's time for the next person to get their chance. And right now, the interim coach has been named at NCCU, and his name is, let's see here, where is it at? Eastman. Granville Eastman has been named the interim coach. So, Jerry Max, after winning the MEAC championship last year and losing to Grambling in the Celebration Bowl, he dips out, leaves HBCU land for Rice, which, they're having a new regime come in, so we'll see, where he goes. Now, Kels, you're not going to like this, but where did your head coach go to college?
Okay, so this is the rumor that I knew everybody would start. And that's the thing. That's like we talked about this last week. I was like, well, that's the first thing. And see, that's one of the things that people get mad, and I really don't care. PP, you were in mass communication, so media 101 is if you don't have a source, then it's not true. People can start rumors all day long. And I really don't feed into rumors. I really don't. So
we know that was just a joke.
Yeah, I go past it. I don't even entertain it.
I just had to mess with you.
I don't comment on it. If it's the same thing with him. It's a business move. He gotta go. But it's the same thing I told somebody else. I was like, that's gonna be the next thing that people start saying. And I didn't think it was gonna be so soon, but like the very next day, I was like, look. And we laughed about it. I was like, and I kind of seen it, but I mean, it's almost like a written story, though. If it happens like that, it's almost like, okay, this is how it's supposed to happen because it's a plausible scenario. It really is. Because It's almost like, okay, you came out of Central, it's a plausible scenario. So, I mean, it would make sense, but you can only be like, okay, don't go nowhere. It's the only thing I can think. But, yeah, I knew that would be the next thing that would start. I knew that would be the next thing to start. Because, you're not the first one. A lot of people start saying it.
Right. And the next coaching change that I'm going to talk about is not a head coach. After we get to the coach, we're going to preview the Celebration Bowl. Are you all familiar with the name Hal Mummy?
No.
Well, Hal Mummy is the innovator of the air raid offense that Mike Leach runs at Washington State. He was the head coach of Kentucky. He was most recently the head coach at Belhaven in my hometown. A source, now I haven't seen this printed, but a source of mine has told me that Hal Mummy is in discussions to become the offensive coordinator at Jackson State University. And to add someone with his coaching prowess to that squad, to help Jackson State's offense, because we all know Jackson State's strength was their defense. Their weakness was their offense. If Hal Mummy can help that offense generate some points, Jackson State rivals Alcorn in the SWAC East. Even though they beat Alcorn with their miserable offense, Jackson State could have potentially, won a few more games and I guess gotten their spot back to top of the SWAC East. We'll see if Hal Mummy comes aboard officially. I think it would be a good thing since he's already in town. He doesn't want to be a head coach. He's an older guy. He just wants to coach offense. It's a win-win if it happens. Next up, Hampton has hired a head coach. Coach Robert Prunty has been offered and the position. He has accepted the position for the head coach position at the Hampton Pirates. And he is an HBCU veteran coming back home to head Hampton. I think that's awesome for him to come back. He's from Virginia. He played for Hampton. It was very refreshing to him say that he wanted to come back home to Hampton. So welcome home, Coach Robert Prunty. He inherits a football program that's in transition with Hampton transitioning to the with Big South, right, Kels?
That's correct.
Yeah, transition to the Big South.
That's correct. Yeah, that's what I went to. Correct.
So we'll see what he does there. He doesn't have to worry about, playing for a MEAC championship or having to take out North Carolina A&T. He does have some stout competition in Kennesaw State and Monmouth in that division, being those are the only two winning squads in that division. So, we'll see what Hampton does. Also, and this is something that I thought was a good thing, Alabama State has taken an interim tag off of Coach Hill Ely and named him the head football coach. A lot of people don't agree with that. They feel like Jenkins could have gotten the team on that run. Ely took them on. I don't think so. I think Jenkins lost that team. I think Ely brought some excitement into that locker room, and it was a resurgence. And I think they rewarded him for that. I know he has a losing record from his previous stints as head coaches, but you can't always say, a guy doesn't need a second chance. Some people do better that second go round. And the last thing I want to talk about as far as head coaches are concerned is the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff head coaching job. 37 applicants, y'all. 37. And some big names on this list. Some we are very familiar with, PP. Our chapter frat, Coach Totten, former MVSU head coach and MVSU legend, is on the list. Darryl Asbury, Jackson State legend and current Southern Lab high school coach. And one name that we all know about, Coach Rick Comegee. After getting let go from Valley, he has put his name in the hat to be the next head coach at UAPB. So, I'm not going to go through all 37 names, but it's some good names. Chennis Berry's on this list. But,
Here, Coach Dooley is on that list.
Dooley is on that list. Some good names. So, 6 factors that Pine Bluff is looking at as far as choosing their next head coach would be educational background, college coaching experience, tradition of winning, recruitment philosophy, commitment to rules and compliance, and commitment to academic excellence. Now, we all know Coach Comegee did not have success at Valley, but he has had success at Jackson State and at Tuskegee. So he crosses off a good bit of those check marks. He did have some academic issues with the transfers and APR issues at Jackson State, but he did right that ship on that. So a lot of these guys, Brian Jenkins has applied. Chris Dishman, just a lot of names.
I think Anthony Jones might be on there.
Yeah, Anthony Jones, yes.
Anthony
Ernest Jones is on here. Donovan McCray. Arkansas Pine Bluff.
And I think, it's gonna be a. Of course, the word was that Dooley has already accepted that. That's not confirmed, but we're gonna see after these holidays who gets what. But it's one of the. I think the interesting things there is 2 names on there: Comegee and Jones. With Anthony Jones, for people that didn't know, when Monty Coleman went to Pine Bluff, he took Jones with him. So you're on the staff, but I can't see that as him going to be a head coach even after he was fired from Alabama A&M. I don't know what's going to happen after. So, and then Comegee, if you're looking at what he done at Valley, he just didn't have a fighting chance at Valley. I'm just going to say that. Wasn't a fighting chance for him to. Yeah, it wasn't nothing going to happen there. So
he came and did what we need him to do. We got that one win over them Tigers. He got us that. So I'm grateful for Coach Comegee. He got us that one win, and we're going to keep talking about it till we beat him again. So, can't wait to see how this plays out. And, of course, the rest of the coaching vacancies, Prairie View now has that opening. I guess we'll see if some of these 37 apply for the Prairie View job, which I'm pretty sure they will. I'm going to reach out to Ashley to see if I can get him on. I know he's not going to really want to talk about the coaching vacancy or coaching search, due to the sensitivity of it. But, I'm pretty sure he's wasn't expecting to have to hire a football coach. And, we know the great things that Ashley's done at Prairie View. Of course, he's a Delta Devil. I grew up with him. So I'm going to reach out to see if he'll come on. He may talk about it. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say he won't. But, wonderful things happening in the HBCU coaching circles. Lots of coaches coming from the FBS ranks with HBCU ties. And being of that nature, I didn't know John Chavis had HBCU ties. He coached at Alabama State and Alabama A&M. Did you see that picture, Kels? With John Chavis, legendary defensive coordinator for Tennessee, LSU, and at Texas A&M this past year? I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who knows? He may decide he may want to come home. He didn't play football at HBCU. He played for Tennessee, but he got his coaching roots at an HBCU. So who knows? He may just want to coach for the love. When you're at an HBCU, and you're not really coaching for money, you're coaching for the love of the game, because the glitz and glamour is not down at this level. You know what I'm saying? You're coaching really for the love of the game. For someone like him who's coached for championship winning squads, I think it would be good. Like Hal Mummy, I know he's an older coach, but he has coached at the highest level for so long, and he's coaching for the love now. But now we got about 5 minutes left. We're gonna talk about the big dog, the big event, the Celebration Bowl. Grambling versus North Carolina A&T. All of the back and forth going on social media. Hadn't really seen any banter between players, but we know the players are preparing for this game, Kills. Grambling looking for its second straight Celebration Bowl victory and Black College National Championship title. North Carolina A&T looking for its second one after beating Alcorn 2 years ago, while Tariq ran his way all the way to the Chicago Bears and ran for 80 yards today in the NFL. Kels, talk to us about this game. You're in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? You're there. You're going to be right there, smack dab in the middle, celebrating the Celebration Bowl. Talk to us about your expectations for this game, and also pick us a winner.
Looking at, talking to some of the people from Celebration Bowl committee earlier, and looking at like what the past games. In 2015, you had almost 36,000 people. In last year's game, as far as attendance, you had about 31,000 people. So predicting this to be an even higher attended game this year coming up. A lot of stuff that's going on this year. As you know, I really don't do predictions. I think both of these teams have a really good chance of winning. Both of the teams have had time to rest, which is very important. They had time to take some time off to rest and, get their minds right. I would say, per se, the trash talking, of course, has built up. It's a lot of people that's coming out here this year for North Carolina A&T. That first year that North Carolina A&T came, they did not have that many people. Alcorn did show up in droves, so they did represent for the conference. Hopefully we can get the same attendance or I'll say greater from both sides this year. But again, I'll say, like I said last week, if Broadway plays Broadway football, I'm going to go ahead and say North Carolina A&T. This North Carolina A&T team is supposedly better than the team that Tariq played on, so we're going to see. Again, it won't be a blowout. It's not going to be a blowout, in my opinion. Even if it's just by 3 points, I'll say like North Carolina A&T 24-28 over Grambling. But I think it's going to be North Carolina.
Did you just give a score?
Yeah, I said if I had to give a score, 24-28. But I think it'll be North Carolina A&T.
All right, PP, give us your expectations for the Celebration Bowl.
If North Carolina A&T plays their game, we know their defense going to show up. Grambling has Kincaid and Carter. If A&T's defense can slow them down or keep them in check, they will probably win. It'll probably be something, I won't say it won't be 10-9 like it was last year, but it'll be probably something like, I say 21-14, something like that.
21-14, wow. Well, all right, I'm going to wrap this up here. And also talking about North Carolina A&T, congratulations to Lamar Raynard. He is the MEAC Offensive Player of the Year. And Darius Leonard is the Defensive Football Player of the Year out of South Carolina State. You have two dynamic quarterbacks, Devontae Kincaid and Lamar Raynard. Both quarterbacks run their offenses efficiently. Both quarterbacks are mobile. Whichever defense can keep the quarterback from hurting them will win this game. Last week, I figured North Carolina A&T would take this game. I'm not going to change my prediction because the Grambling defense, even though Files put the starters back in, they were still leaky. Alcorn had the momentum, and Grambling could not stop them. If Alcorn has more time, I think they pull out that victory. The Grambling defense was just shell-shocked. And the thing is, North Carolina A&T, they're not going to just lay down like Alcorn did in the beginning of that SWAC championship game. They're going to come to play. So I am going to pick North Carolina A&T to become the Celebration Bowl champion and the Black College National Championship champion. I hate to pick against my good buddy Devontae, but football is more than a one-person game. It's a team game, and I feel like North Carolina A&T has the better team than Grambling. Gramblingites don't get upset with me. I would like for Grambling to win, but I just feel like North Carolina A&T has the edge. Grambling again, healing up, Carter healing up, Kincaid healing up. Grambling had some injuries in that SWAC championship game, so these 2 weeks off definitely beneficial for Grambling. I think it's going to be an awesome game. Plenty of events going on that week, but the Aggies will pull out this game, and they will be the Black College National Champion. All right, we're about out of time. Kels, you have any closing remarks?
For next week, we do have Central State's women's basketball coach that is going to be coming on. His name is Louis Shine, so he's going to come on and talk to us. Right now, they are 7-2. They are undefeated in their division right now. So next week, Coach Louis Shine, women's basketball team, or the Central State Martyrs, he will be on next week.
All right, people, you got anything you want to say?
Not man.
All right, so my congratulations to Bethune-Cookman's Cordless Fingers. She went to Judy Sweet Award. Congratulations to Grambling's Wilbur Ellis. He received a Lifetime Achievement Award. And congratulations to Grambling's Cargo. He is a finalist for the Scholar Athlete Award. Also, Alabama A&M has a basketball commit. Shaq Seville commits to Alabama A&M. So we have a Shaq of the SWAC. So congrats to that young man making his decision on coming to Alabama A&M. I guess we'll see what he does next year on the basketball court as a true freshman. Again, this is Derek Thomas in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Keisha Kelly in Atlanta, Georgia, and Patrick Perry up in the Delta for Black College Experience. We are out. Have a good night. Check us out next week. Peace out.
Shutterstock Music.